Morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good.
Good. Do you have time to do an interview?
For what?
For my hobby.
What's your hobby?
My hobby is chatting with strangers for 5 minutes
Okay, cool.
to explore a belief that they hold and
Sure.
they think is true. Want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. I encourage people to pick the topic. So a lot of people pick supernatural things.
Okay.
So like they think karma's real,
Mm-hmm.
or they believe in a god. Or yesterday, I was talking to a woman who said that when you see a cardinal, it could be a loved one coming back to say hello.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about your view on some political issue,
Okay.
or that type of thing. When it's a belief that's very tied to who you are, those are the kind of interesting talks.
Okay. I do believe in a God. Jesus.
Okay.
Christ.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't have any crazy beliefs about like the cardinal or karma, chakras, energies, things like that. Don't really have those things seem kind of out there to me. But I was actually just walking with a friend that has those views on energies and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that can be our topic.
Okay, great. May I get your first name?
Jessie.
I'm Anthony.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
Sorry,
to-
I'm so sweaty. We
That's
just did
o-
the whole thing.
That's okay. Do you want some ice water?
Sure.
Okay. That one is probably not as cold as this
Oh, it
one.
doesn't matter.
There you go.
Thank you.
Sure. Are you okay if I record it?
My face is so gross.
I could blur your face. Honestly, I think it's fine, but we can blur your face, or I can just do audio only.
Let me think. So what is this used for?
I have a YouTube channel where I put some of the more interesting talks on. Sometimes, though, people are leery about that, and I've blurred their face so nobody can tell who they are. I can even beep out your name. You said your name, so I could beep it out if you're worried about that. It's just your first name, so I don't know if anyone would figure it out.
Yeah, what's your YouTube channel name?
Magnabosco 210.
Okay.
I can write it. I have a card, and I'll write it down.
Yeah.
So, like, if you change your mind either way, I could.
I'd like to go watch the other videos before.
Sure.
If you want to wait till I
Oh.
watch all your other videos.
Do you come here a lot?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, check them out. I love chatting with people about all sorts of different beliefs. The God one comes up quite a bit. So there's
Yeah, I'm sure.
there's a lot of examples on my channel. There's my channel. Hopefully you can read that. There's my email address on the back.
Okay,
So-
how about you can go ahead and record me, but I want to watch your videos and then I'll just email you if it's cool if you post it.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Can we come up? Well, number one, I don't even know if I'm going to use this talk.
Yeah.
And number two, can we put some sort of deadline on you getting back to me? Because
Yeah, I can get
sometimes
back to you
people
today.
never write. Okay.
Or tomorrow, yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to write down your first name? You okay with that?
That's fine.
Okay, Jessie, right?
Mhm.
Is that how you spell it?
Yes, that's exactly. How you spell it.
Okay. All right. You said you're okay with me recording it, but then you're going to
Go ahead.
decide
Yeah, and
before
I'll
I
decide by
post
today.
it. Okay.
I'll email you today. I promise.
All right, cool. I've got another camera
I
that's
had to blur
pointed
my
at me.
face because I'm so disgusting.
I think you look fine. Okay. A lot of people will say God, but then they mean a specific God, like Jesus, or they
Okay.
mean some sort of energy force. But I think you designated it as a specific God.
Yes.
Okay. Why do you believe that a God exists?
I believe that a God exists because of nature that's around me. I believe that He created everything that you're seeing right now. I think that this wasn't put here by accident. I don't think I'm here by accident, or you're here by accident. If I didn't believe in a God earlier in my life, I don't feel like I'd have much of a purpose for the rest of my existence until I die.
The belief gives you purpose?
The belief does give me purpose in this life.
Okay.
So it gives me lots of things, but that's one thing. If I have something every day to look forward to, people to look forward to, things like this, meeting other people, telling them about Jesus. There's been times where I haven't been reading my Bible, praying, just kind of like falling off, being alone, secluding myself to where I feel more distant from everything, no hope, kind of like just going through the motions of every day, wondering, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why am I getting up in the morning, going to work? What is all this for? And that's because I've distanced myself. And yeah, it's less of a life for me if I do that. I don't feel like I'm doing anything every day that makes a difference.
Okay, so it sounds like this belief that you hold gives your life meaning
Yeah,
and
for sure.
purpose. Okay. And one of the main reasons why you think God exists is you said that nature was created
Yes.
by Him. So I'm kind of wondering how you determine that that your God actually made this?
Yeah, okay, so I believe in the Bible. I believe everything that the Bible says. There's
Okay.
nothing in there that I object to because I believe in Jesus Christ. And I believe in Genesis 1:1, it says, very first verse in the Bible, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. This is the earth. So there's 7 days of creation where he created everything that you're seeing. I believe that wholeheartedly, not because I was raised to believe that or because I go to church and they tell me to believe that. I read the Bible for myself and believe that. There's nothing about any other people's beliefs that I hate on, that I can disagree, but I have friends that are of every background, walk of life, belief system. But that's personally what I believe, what I've found that makes the most sense to me. Because how could this happen by accident? I don't see it.
Okay. So I think what you're saying is, when you look around, it just seems unbelievable that this could just be by accident, just be here.
Just exist.
And then you point to the Bible, which has an explanation for it,
Yeah.
and then you believe the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you believe a book? Why do you think that it's a source of truth?
Yeah. So there's several different things about Christianity that are kind of unexplainable. I feel like, why were your parents Christians? Why is this area Christians? Why are we in the Bible Belt? I can't say anything about why I believe it other than I read the Bible for what it is, and I accept it for what it is, and I wholeheartedly believe that what it's saying is the truth. There's nothing about it that has me doubting what it says. It doesn't contradict itself. There's nothing in the Bible that, out of all of the books, that says something that isn't true. For what I believe, which...
Okay. It's your position that the Bible is a source of truth because you believe that it's a source of truth, and one of the reasons why you believe that is because there are no contradictions in it.
Yeah, there's no contradictions in the Bible
Okay.
that I can think of. That, I mean, if it contradicted itself, then I would not be as eager to believe it for its whole self.
Okay. All right, cool. Can I get a sense of how sure you are, 0 to 100, that your God exists? 100%, there's no question in my mind?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not, okay. I want to make sure that that we have some sort of measuring point. You know?
Okay.
And it's subjective, I suppose. You had mentioned just now that if you were to discover contradictions, I don't know how many you would need to see, that it would maybe have some bearing on your confidence that the belief is true.
Not the belief in God, but that I eagerly believe everything the Bible says. There was something in there that contradicted itself. I would look at it and think, so why is this in here? Why would this be in here to confuse Christians? Why would this be in here to confuse the people of the world that are trying to understand who Jesus is and what our purpose is and things?
I appreciate your honesty and like your willingness to question if you discovered something. I find a lot of people that say, I believe this and there's nothing that would change my mind, but it sounds like what you're saying is that I could identify something that would cause me to take a second look and think about the Bible.
I would definitely take a second look, discover whatever the passage is, whatever the word, the verse, whatever it is that people are thinking, this isn't right, this says that, whatever. Take a look at it and think, why would this be in here? Now, I don't think that there's anything in there, so I'm pretty confident in saying that I would take a look at it, but I don't think that there is. I've been a Christian, how long? I mean, in my adult life, I've been a Christian at least since I was 12 or 13. There's not a specific day that I think Jesus saved me on this day. I've been in church my whole life, and it at some point became real to me. But yeah, there's never been anything in all those years of being in churches, Bible studies, that has come up to be something that's contradictory.
Right. Kind of like to get a sense of how committed are you to what you've just said, and its impact on your belief that the God exists.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like one of the main reasons why you think your God exists is because it says so in the book, and the book explains all these other things about like how we're here. Yet, if you were to discover some contradictions, that it would cause you to re-examine the Bible.
Yeah.
Let's say that we developed some criteria that you would accept to say this is the criteria that I would need to be able to call that a contradiction. Because I don't want to get on my phone and just say, well, here's 5. And you might have reasons to say, well, no, no, 5 times. If we were to establish criteria of what a contradiction is in the Bible, and we work together to look for those, and we saw some.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's say 5, just to go with that number. It sounds like what you're saying is that if you were to see it, it would cause you to re-examine your position on the book being a source of truth. Would it have a corresponding impact on your confidence that the God exists?
No.
Really?
No, there's nothing that could take that away. There's nothing that would make me think, oh, God doesn't exist. Because there's so many things that he's proved to me that he does, that there's no way that I could say that.
Okay. So if we establish criteria for contradictions in the Bible, and we found them,
Yeah.
you would start questioning whether the Bible was really a source of truth, but it still wouldn't have an adjustment on your confidence that the God existed at all?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So I think that there are Christians in this world that don't have access to Bibles. I think there are Christians that don't have a Bible in their language. I think that your relationship with Jesus obviously can be enhanced by having a Bible, but if you don't have access, I don't think that it's impossible for you to be a Christian without me saying, hey, have you ever heard of Jesus Christ? Can I tell you about him? Okay, so people that are in more remote locations.
Without a book, without the Bible.
Without the book.
Okay.
Because of nature, because of different things, God says that he will make himself known to people. He will make himself known in the plainest of ways. And I think that that's absolutely true, that you don't have to be this scholar of the Bible or this person. I think that sways new Christians, because they don't know. People are interviewing them, asking them, okay, so what about this about your God? What about that about your God? Blah, blah, blah. It's a lot more simple than people make it out to be. Yeah, I don't know. I think that you can be a Christian without even having the book.
Okay. So in your situation then, Jessie, if we were to find all these reasons why the Bible wasn't a source of truth, you would still maintain the belief with 100% degree of confidence.
Yeah.
What would be the reasons why you would be so confident still if we completely took the Bible and set it aside?
Okay. From a young age of 8 years old, 9, 10, 11, I was in church and I believed. Did I understand what the Bible said? Not really. Because I can take the plainest of verses and explain them to a child and they understand. Then they go play with other kids, forget what's going on. They aren't aware of what's happening in the life of themselves, the Bible, their impact on other kids their age. That's not something that's happening. Do I believe that they still believe if they say it? If they say, I believe in Jesus Christ? Absolutely, I believe that they believe. But, they're not reading their Bible every day. They're not understanding. But even the faith of a child, I feel like, is something that can't be explained. I'm not going to try to explain it because I had that faith that I just knew that Jesus was around me. I prayed to Jesus. Did I understand what he meant by all the scriptures in the Bible? No.
Okay. I think what I hear you saying is that, and if this isn't what you're saying, let me know.
Yeah.
But I think what you're saying is you were exposed to this at a young age and you, I guess, started believing it long before you even knew about the Bible and the scriptures and maybe even the stories.
Knew about the Bible, knew there was scripture, didn't understand every scripture that was talked about. Very complicated to me when I was younger.
Okay.
The older you get, the more you study, the more you break it down. Yeah, better understanding. But I had a basic faith because God came to me in a dream, and ever since then I've believed there's no reason that I shouldn't.
Okay. Do you remember approximately how old you were when you had the dream?
Yeah, I was about 9 years old.
At 9, okay. So around 8, you're being exposed to this this doctrine, these ideas. 9, you have a dream. And these were, sounds like, foundational reasons why you believe, because even if we later discovered that the Bible wasn't a source of truth, you'd still hold the belief, largely because of these early exposures that you've had. If we discovered somebody else walking by and they were able to give us a very similar tale, that they were exposed to a completely different God and completely different stories, and they had a dream, But they were concluding that a completely different God existed.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like Vishnu, Hinduism or something. And they said that they were 100% sure that this God is real, regardless of how many contradictions might be in the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Do you think that they would be justified in saying that they could be so sure?
I'm not going to tell them that they're not, sure in their faith, or that their faith isn't real, or that this doesn't exist. I don't believe it. I don't believe that that they're whatever.
Is there any reason why? Yes, I understand that. I think I'm with you. Like, they have a right to believe all it.
Yeah.
They can believe what they want. I guess what I'm trying to understand is, would they be justified in thinking that that God really exists because they had that exposure as a young kid and then a dream about the God?
They can think that, yeah. Sure. I think that they're justified in believing whatever they would like to believe. We're only here for a certain amount of time on Earth. Why would I waste my time trying to convince them that that doesn't exist, if that's what they're living for, if that's what they're...
Would they be believing in something that's not true?
Okay. Like what? There's certain belief systems.
They're 100% sure that Vishnu is real and the Bhagavad Gita is a source of truth. And when they had that dream, that it was Vishnu that came to them.
So are you asking me if I believe that that's what?
Do you think that that person is believing
In vain?
in a God that's real?
No. No, I don't.
Okay.
Am I going to, not be friends with them or hate on them because of that? No.
Okay, yeah.
My best friend is an atheist, and I have told her about God, told her about, nature and how I see it in nature, how dreams I've had, things that have spoken to me, ways God has shown me that he's real, but she doesn't register with that, and she probably will never register with that, and it's not a divisive point in our relationship.
So what I'm really trying to understand is, if this young girl who was exposed to the Hindu god Vishnu, and it registered with her that this was the real true God.
Yeah.
And I think we agree that she's got the right to believe that if she wants. The question is, though, is she believing in something that's true?
No. It's true for her. I'm not going to tell her it's not true, unless she was actually interested in what I had to say about Christianity. I can understand if we have a conversation. I'm going to be interested in what she's saying about her beliefs. She can be interested in what I'm saying about my beliefs. But I'm not going to just take that away from her and say, that's not true, blah, blah, blah.
You'd be okay with her believing in something that's not true?
I would be okay with her believing in something that's not true, as long as she knew that that's what she wanted to do with her life. That's the path that she was going on. Of course, as a Christian, I want to tell her, hey, this isn't going to bring you lasting fulfillment. This isn't, purposeful, blah, blah, blah. I've had those conversations that tend to turn negative, and that's upsetting because, as Christians, we're called to share the gospel. And it's very, very hard whenever someone is just defensive instead of being open. It's just one of those situations where I've told my best friend everything I can about Jesus, about the gospel, but she's not going to change. But at least I've implanted that in her mind. She has that in her brain to think about when she thinks of me, when she hears Christianity. It just gets the mind working. I feel like maybe one day that she will believe, but I've done all I can for her. Yeah. I don't have anything else as far as that.
Do you think that if we were to meet that hypothetical Hindu girl, young woman who believes in Vishnu, that she might give similar reasons why she's correct and you're mistaken?
For sure.
Do you think that she would say that you're defensive and not open?
I don't know. Is it like a conversation like we're having right now?
Possibly. Yeah, let's say that she's giving pretty much the same answers that I hear from you.
Yeah.
How could we tell which of the two of you is really believing in the true?
Who is we? You?
Yeah, let's just say I'm trying to be as neutral as possible.
Yeah, okay.
Let's say she's standing right over here and she says, Anthony, I was taught this when I was young. I had a dream. I concluded that it was this God. Yes, there's this book. I think it's the source of truth. It doesn't have any contradictions. And even if it did, I'd still hold on to the belief. I think anyone that believes in any other God, they're certainly okay to have that belief, but they're just not believing in the true God. I have the true God.
Absolutely.
You're mistaken. She would probably be just as respectful as you are. And yet I think she might be just as confident in her position and maybe even unwilling to consider that she's mistaken on it.
Yeah.
What advice would you have for somebody who's trying to be neutral and trying to figure out which of the two of you, if any, has it all figured out?
Yeah, I don't think it's about having it all figured out, but the person that is neutral, I would say my best, case for Jesus Christ, that's all I can do. And if they want to believe someone else, they can. If they want to believe me, they can.
What is your best case?
What is my best case? Okay, so that would be sitting down with someone, probably just explaining to them that Jesus came to this earth and, he wants to save you. He wants to give you a purpose in this life. I have so many friends as a 22-year-old that have no purpose, especially in this age. They feel like they have no purpose.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that earlier on. Okay, this belief is giving you purpose and
Absolutely.
meaning. Right. I was intending to circle back to that.
And I do have to be at work. So what time is it?
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. My phone's down there and I don't really want to bend
I can stay for
over.
probably a few more minutes, but I do have to go.
Okay, let me check real quick. Where's my phone? It's almost 11.
Okay.
Do you have to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
But just one more question maybe or something. I have
Okay.
to be at work at noon.
I definitely want to. Yes, I definitely want to investigate this idea of the meaning that you get from the belief.
Yeah.
However, I'm really interested in how people are so sure
Yeah.
that these things are even true. Because I think people can get meaning from beliefs that are not true. So, for example, that woman who believes in Vishnu, she may not be able to get out of bed in the morning if she didn't have her belief. It
Yeah.
may be a real struggle to deal with hardships if she didn't think Vishnu was real. So I'm really interested in going deep. Like, how can we? Yes, I there's very little doubt in my mind that people are getting benefit from these beliefs. My interest is, how can we tell if the belief is true? So maybe we could just table this for now, and I could just sit on this. You can check out my channel, and then, do you come to the trail frequently?
I come with a friend, but she's in and out of town, so
that might work pretty good for me.
yeah, I have different schedules every week as far as work and stuff. So
Okay, is it roughly the same time? I'll be beeping all this stuff out just so you know, just in case like you do say go ahead and use this and I blur your face or whatever, or not, because I don't want anyone like showing up,
yeah, for sure.
some weirdos like, let me set Anthony straight, or let me show Jessie that Vishnu really is the true God.
Yeah.
That type of thing. So, but that was cool. I gave you a card.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. That
and
was.
I will email you tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Sometime soon to let you know if this is cool. I just want to look at all the other videos, see what's out there.
Yeah, I have a playlist of my top 10. It's a good
Okay.
mix of talks about God. Karma comes up quite a bit. What else is on there? Ghosts. There's some ghost talk on my channel
Oh, that's cool.
and things like that. Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm going to upload one later today, I think, if I have some time,
Okay.
about a person who thought that there was a spirit talking to them.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right, cool.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you
Nice
very
to meet
much.
you, Anthony.
It was very nice to meet you too.
Hopefully I'll see you around.
Okay, I'd like that.
And then if not, you can just email me.
Very good.
You know, I stopped because you look like an old friend when you asked me that I used to hike with. And I
Oh,
was
really?
like, oh, that's so crazy. That's cool. Anyway.
What did you do hikes here with him?
No,
Oh, okay.
but we used to
I've
hike
had a
with-
few people say that I look like other people.
You look like someone, and I was like, oh my gosh. I
Is that
literally,
him?
I was just like, that's so weird because we used to hike together and I haven't seen him in years. That's funny. Well, I have to go to work.
It was a lovely chat.
Lovely.
Thanks for making the time for it.
Yeah, for sure. See you later.
Okay, bye. Well, Jessie's clearly pre-contemplative, and I was impressed with her poise the entire time of that talk. I barely had time to explain what I was doing, and she was lining herself up to be interviewed. She was very eager to have a talk, Very early on, she drew a line that I think is going to become important later on if we ever meet again, and that was when she called karma and chakras and deceased people coming back as cardinals crazy beliefs. When someone believes in a specific God like Jesus, for example, it's even easier to respectfully challenge their epistemology, as opposed to when somebody says, well, everyone's believing in the same God, for example. Now, this conversation took a typical path when it comes to applying street epistemology on a God belief, with one exception. And I'm wondering if some of you noticed, thus far, Jessie never said that she was using faith as a method to come to her belief. At least, not yet. If we do meet again, I'm nearly certain that she's going to bring that word up herself. I thought it was really interesting at one point when she said that she tries to plant seeds in the minds of her friends regarding her God belief, because I too am out here trying to plant seeds. I think my favorite part of that discussion was how we completely bypassed hours and hours of discussions on biblical contradictions because she would still believe in a God even if we took her holy book out of the picture. Although I'm now wondering if she regrets having said that. I mean, how could you believe in Jesus if you don't have the Bible as a reference? That part didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, and I'd be surprised if she went from a theist to a deist in 20 minutes. When it comes down to it, Jessie seems to be believing in this because she was told it at a young age, and then she had a dream to further reinforce the belief. That's at least where we seem to be right now, and I hope that there's a discussion in the near future where we can see if she's changed her mind on any of that. Oh, and there was one more thing I wanted to cover, and that was her assertion that her life has meaning because of this belief. And there's no question in my mind that that is the case for her. What's more important though, at least for now I think, is how did she determine that her belief is true? And like I mentioned during the talk, I was intending to circle back to the topic, but we ran out of time. And honestly, we covered so much during that talk, I'm not entirely sure that this would have been the appropriate time to get into that topic. If we do meet again and she's open to it, I think it could be healthy to have a discussion about how people can find meaning in life without believing in a God. All in all, this was a great talk with a difficult to read interlocutor. I'm not entirely sure if any of my questions landed, but I'm hopeful that she will think about this conversation and perhaps reach out to me later. A few hours later via email.
Hello, Anthony. My name is Jessie, and we talked about my belief in Jesus this morning at the park. I've subscribed to your YouTube channel, and I love your videos. Feel free to upload our conversation. I do request my face be blurred to protect my privacy. I'd love to talk again sometime.